Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we've got a really exciting goal. We are going to take foundational design thinking modules and transform them into a highly practical playbook. If you're a modern leader dealing with uncertainty, shifting markets, or just complex workplace dynamics, this structured framework is exactly what you need to master. We're going to break down exactly how to stop guessing and start innovating with real purpose.
As a leader, it's absolutely crucial to recognize this massive paradigm shift. For the longest time, innovation was kind of treated as a silo, right? It was shoved down the hall into specialized IT departments or R&D labs. But the source material reveals that innovation is no longer just limited to technology. It's actually a critical capability across all organizational functions. It's a core survival skill centered on human adaptive problem solving to help you and your entire organization navigate the rapidly changing future of work. So here is our roadmap for today. We'll be exploring 5 core capabilities to help you mobilize cross-functional teams and drive meaningful change. The human-centered mindset, framing the right problem, structured idea generation, testing under uncertainty, and aligning teams for execution. Let's jump right into the first module.
Section 1. The human-centered mindset, or understanding people first.
This concept brilliantly illustrates the bedrock of everything we'll discuss today. Because successful innovation, it absolutely does not start with spreadsheets or complex technical diagrams. It starts with human behavior. For decades, leaders kind of just guessed what the market wanted based on boardroom gut feelings. Today, true innovation requires totally abandoning that guesswork. You have to step out of the building and ensure your solutions are grounded entirely in actual, verified, real-world needs. So what specifically do you need to look for? Well, customer experiences, employee experiences, user insights, unmet expectations, and underlying behaviors and motivations. Now, notice something really important here. It's not just about the customer. Employee experiences is right there, too. A great innovation leader cultivates deep empathy to drive decision-making that reflects the real-world perspectives of both the people buying the product and the people building it.
Moving on to Section 2, framing the right problem, or the pivot.
This section is all about the mechanics of problem solving. How you diagnose a situation right at the very beginning dictates the success or failure of the entire innovation process. I mean, if your initial foundation is cracked, the house is eventually going to fall down. So ask yourself, why do strong solutions fail? Think about the last massive organizational initiative you witnessed that launched with huge fanfare, only to quietly fizzle out a few months later. The tech worked, the team was super smart, the funding was there, so what went wrong?
The fascinating aha moment here is that organizations rarely struggle because of weak solutions. They fail because they address the completely wrong problems. They apply brilliant, expensive, well-engineered solutions to totally irrelevant issues. Uncovering the actual root causes, rather than merely treating surface-level symptoms, that is an innovation leader's true superpower.
So, the crucial point is transforming broad, vague issues into meaningful, actionable innovation opportunities. As a leader, you must relentlessly challenge existing assumptions. When a project is failing, you don't just push your team to work harder. You use structured problem definition to pivot the project and reframe the challenge into something that actually matters to your stakeholders.
All right, Section 3. Structured idea generation, or expanding perspectives.
Now that we've properly framed the real problem, let's shatter a pretty common workplace myth. We all love the romantic story of the lone genius having a sudden epiphany in the shower, right? But the reality highlighted in the source material is that true innovation is not accidental inspiration. It's a disciplined, systematic process that can be actively developed and reliably applied across any department in your workplace. Maintaining that discipline requires a delicate balancing act. An innovation leader has to manage competing forces. You need divergent thinking to expand ideas, balanced equally with convergent thinking to narrow them down. You have to nurture creative confidence so your team takes risks, but you absolutely must anchor it with organizational practicality. Basically, you want wild, outside-the-box ideas, but you must remain grounded in the practical realities of what your company can actually deliver. Which brings us to Section 4, testing under uncertainty, or the laboratory. The undeniable reality of modern business is constant, rapid change and deep uncertainty. The risks of launching new ideas are just immense. So how do effective leaders mitigate those risks? By following 3 steps: generating a testable concept, validating assumptions, and learning quickly. Let's say you want to launch a massive, highly disruptive software platform.
Instead of spending millions coding the whole shebang, you build a rapid, cheap, click-through prototype in a week. You put it in front of 5 real users, find out the navigation is confusing, and adapt the concept long before you write a single line of actual code. As the source material brilliantly puts it, iterative learning as mechanisms for reducing risk and improving decision quality. In an unpredictable environment, evidence must guide your future actions, not blind confidence. Every small test you run is essentially just buying data to ensure your next big decision is a smart one.
Finally, Section 5, aligning teams for execution, or the orchestration.
Now, what's really interesting here is, let's be honest, generating great ideas on whiteboards is super fun, but it creates zero impact unless you can orchestrate them into reality. At this stage, your role completely transforms. You're no longer just the individual expert or the lead problem solver. You become a master orchestrator, actively facilitating cross-functional teams, breaking down departmental silos, and influencing diverse stakeholders to turn a raw concept into a tangible implementation.
Execution ultimately requires prioritizing value creation for both customers and employees within complex organizational environments. This is where stakeholder alignment and implementation thinking become your primary focus. These are the final, absolutely necessary bridges you must build to ensure your team's hard work successfully navigates the red tape and friction of the real world.
Ultimately, competence is demonstrated through applied innovation practice and structured decision-making in real workplace contexts. This playbook isn't just academic theory. Just like the University Malaya, Wales, and DT Leadership Practitioner Certificate Examination mentioned in our source, the true test of this material is how you transition from concept to workplace reality. It's about applying these practical skills to mobilize your team right inside your own organization. Which leads me with one final, provocative question for you to ponder today. How will you apply this human-centered approach to your next organizational challenge? Step into the role of the modern innovation leader. Start with empathy, frame the right problem, test your assumptions quickly, and orchestrate your team to execute. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, keep adapting, and I literally cannot wait to see the impact you're going to create.